And we also talked about, modern day, if Elvis was alive, having Elvis do like a Rick Rubin record with,
oh my God,
with that stripped down, that's really when I fell in love with Johnny Cash, was when I got to hear those records and hear how upfront Rick Rubin had not really truly stripped it down, but then also been able to put, Tom Petty and the lads behind him. And yeah,
that's one of the most amazing. I need to go and listen to the whole album again, but it's so, that's one of the cool things about that record, is that they were just his backing band. You can definitely pick out Tom's backing vocals in some of it, but they were just, they kind of faded into the background, and it just lifted Johnny up, and I just thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a
testament to them as a band.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. Again, you know who it is, you know who you're dealing with, but at the same time, it was done so well that it was just Johnny Cash. It was just you in a room with Johnny Cash. Especially you get to listen to it on an LP and unobstructed sound and nothing going. Just look into the soul of that record. And
that's a credit to Rick Rubin as a producer, how he's grown from Beastie Boys and working with the Beastie Boys and Run DMC and Aerosmith and that kind of 80s kind of weird rap rock stuff, and now he can produce a beautiful, not that those records aren't beautiful in their own way, I guess, but being able to produce stuff like the Johnny Cash stuff, and which are amazing records.
We were so taken by that concept. It was nearly suffering the loss of Elvis again when you realize that there was the possibility of a record like that where he could sing, not singing about fucking salad or what I mean, like just getting into just him, his roots, and getting him to sing and pushing that to the forefront and having that as
well, not to, this is not a one-upmanship, but that record that I just got, the Elvis from the 68 comeback special, when it's just those guys on the stage doing sort of, it's not the same thing as Rick producing it, but it's four sides of Elvis being Elvis. And that's probably the last time that ever happened, when he could just sit around with his buddies and play acoustic guitar and sing, you know. So, and that record's powerful too.
Yes, it is.
It's an excellent record.
If I Can Dream, is that the...
Well, that's I think they put that on the end of the record, but the rest of it is just when they're sitting around the stage.
Oh, yeah.
And DJ's playing drumsticks on the guitar case.
Yeah.
And I think Scotty Moore is there playing guitar, and what do you want to sing, Elvis? He's like, let's do this one. He just starts playing, and they all jump into it.
Yeah.
But we think, because if you watch the special, you think it's like 4 or 5 songs. It's like 20 songs that they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I saw a video about that recently, and I had never was aware that this was a controversy, but apparently there are some naysayers online who thought that, because I forget what song it is, but Elvis he starts playing it on acoustic, and he does this kind of blues riff that runs into it, and apparently there's some people who thought that he was faking it, that he wasn't actually playing that guitar, and this on YouTube, this guy zooms in on a guitar and plays in split screen, so he's actually playing the same riff. So look, this is maybe you're confused about how he's voicing or where he's actually playing it, but he proves that Elvis actually is playing the guitar here.
Yeah, you can't be Elvis Presley and not know how to play the fucking guitar.
Yeah,
but people don't understand how rhythmically brilliant Elvis was.
He was an arranger, too.
Also that, but if you watch the Vegas years, as torturous as some of those songs are, just because the bubblegum coating, or the candy covered arrangements that were given, but when you watch his performance, and I think one of the greatest things about him was not his voice, was his rhythm and his ability to phrase those these are, again, you got 3 minutes to tell your story. Well, actually 2 minutes to tell your story, and to be able to grab people that quickly, and of course have that effect on an audience, I tell you something, you probably didn't notice this, But I watched those tapes. Not one person on their phone. The whole. He did it again. So, but yeah, just the rhythm. That's in my later years. I realized how brilliant timekeeper he was, and you know, and again, those guys in the studio weren't working with all the way back to Bill Black. They weren't working with a metronome. So
they were the metronome.
Yeah. So you got to keep that down, and it's beautiful. You know, set a, which I haven't done, but I mean, I imagine you set a metronome to it, you'd be pretty amazed at how, and especially because those songs were, you know, well, and then to have it finish on that, you know, being a but it would still kind of line up. You know, I mean, because it's those records were you know, they're freeform essentially, and you know, as precise as you're gonna find, you know, with that.
Yeah,
I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah, that they were an amazing band, and it's great to see. Getting back to the Beatles again, the interviews that they did. Did you ever watch the anthology, the Beatles anthology, the documentary?
I watched it a long time ago. Yeah.
There's we're Ringo and Paul and George are sitting around a table and talking, and they get into talking about Elvis at one point, and George is, you know, upfront about the fact that I don't think any of them were really big fans of Elvis's later period because they grew up obviously on on the Sun Record stuff, right?
Yeah,
and that's what they covered. That's
right. But and George actually got to meet Elvis. Well, they met us a couple times. Actually, they all went to his house famously when they were young. But then Elvis went to go see him play in Vegas or somewhere, and met him backstage or something. And talked about how Elvis, with his gold stuff on, looked like it was Lord Vishnu coming to shake his hand. But he wasn't a big fan of all the backing singers and all that stuff too. But he in that same breath, he had to hand it to the rhythm section of the band. He was like, they're really good.
With James Burton on guitar and Ron Todd on drums. Jesus Christ.
That's who he says. Yeah, he said Ronnie Todd and James Burton.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
And some of the tempos they played some of that shit at, it was ridiculous.
Yes.
And how tight those guys were.
Yeah.
It was a testament to how strong that band was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Jerry Sheff was a bass player during most of that period. Not the entire period, but most of that stuff. Most of the bass playing you hear in some of that. Hunk of Burning Love. The
Yeah.
That's Jerry Sheff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find that documentary that I was talking about on Amazon? The Elvis one?
I haven't sat down to look at the TV.
Well,
No, that's not true.
Do.
I did find it, and I couldn't see it for some reason. There was another couple of things that came up. I need to really
watch it if you can. What is it called? Promise? No, something. Promise? Something like that. I remember I told you the wrong title, and I found it. I was like, oh no, it's called this. Anyway, it's a great 2-part documentary on I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's about Elvis. It's so good and so terrible because you know we all know how it ends.
This is sad. Yeah,
gets you right there.
Yeah.